He made a video called 5 NBA players on the verge of busting in 2024. And here's the thumbnail. W title, W thumbnail. W title, W thumbnail. But, all right.
There is a lot on the line in this upcoming NBA season across the board, no matter what level of player or team you are. The superstars are fighting to solidify their legacies with
predictions, chat. I'm gonna say this is a cop out, but Cam Reddish is definitely one of them. He's definitely on my screen. James Wiseman is another one. Marvin Bagley is another one. Let me think of other names. Jabari Smith, he's on the watch. Killian Hayes, I think people have just given up on. Yeah. Those are the names coming. DeAndre Ayton is another one.
Accolades and deep playoff runs, the most talented teams are trying to bring hardware back to their cities, and then at the other end of the spectrum, there are quite a few young players that are still fighting for their spot in the league, which is where our focus will be.
Give it another year.
Today we'll be discussing 5 young NBA players in particular that all have a few seasons under their belts already, but to this point have not come anywhere close to living up to the hype, and are on the verge of being labeled as busts if they don't turn things around quickly. Before we start though, it turns out a good amount of you watching right now aren't even subscribed to the channel,
man.
So if you enjoy the content, consider hitting the subscribe button, as not only does it help out a ton, but it also very much appreciate it. Now with that being said, let's begin. The first player we'll be discussing today on the verge of becoming a bust is James Wiseman of the Detroit Pistons. James Wiseman was the number 2 overall pick back in the 2020 NBA draft, which was a gamble even at the time.
Take out Jabari.
That gamble has not come anywhere close to paying off. He played just 3 games in college before dropping out to focus on preparing for the draft on his own. So there was very limited tape of him actually competing against quality competition before being drafted, but he had elite physical tools and measurables to wow scouts and lure them into taking a chance on him. At 7 feet tall with a 7'4" wingspan, Wiseman has the size and length to potentially develop into a top-tier rim protector on defense, and he was a mobile athlete with good feet and touch around the rim, but in the NBA, his overall feel for the game has held him back big time. Defensively, he gets lost way too often, he processes actions pretty slowly, leading him to being a step behind the play at times, and despite decent per-game production of about 10 points and 6 rebounds a night for his career, his advanced metrics demonstrate that the offense of the team scores fewer points with him on the court, and the defense of the team allows more points with him on the court too, which has been a trend every season. He's now in a position where the Pistons actually have come out and said that he and Marvin Bagley are fighting for the backup center spot for the upcoming year.
Absolutely.
And if Wiseman does not win that battle, he may not see the...
I'll tell you this, Jalen Duren is a... Listen, I don't know the discussions people were having this offseason, but Jalen Duren is the fucking truth, dog. Jalen Duren is the truth.
Court much at all, and that would set his career back exponentially. The next player we'll be discussing today on the verge of becoming a bust is Jalen Suggs of the Orlando Magic. Suggs was a top 5...
Is Jalen's... I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what people thought. Maybe I was one of those dudes that was just low on him going into the fucking draft, but I didn't see what people saw in Jalen Suggs. Like, did people think he was gonna be a franchise number 1 option? I didn't think so. But yeah, I don't know.
Pick in the 2021 draft and entered the draft with a lot of momentum after going on a tear in March Madness. I personally was very high on him at the time, but now I feel as though I have to admit that he was one of my big misses from that class because the Magic already seemed to be making future preparations without him being a priority in them. His rookie season was filled with horrific shooting woes and offensive struggles, but it was easy to excuse those early inconsistencies because damn near every rookie guard struggles with efficiency and scoring on a consistent basis while they get used to the NBA.
He had a crazy shot of March Madness.
Year 2
I remember
is when
that.
you're supposed to start to settle into your role
was like
more
a full
and
court
provide
game winner. That shit
genuinely
was
positive production to your
Well,
team
that shit was crazy.
in the areas that you were drafted to provide in. And in Suggs' case, his second season last year really didn't move the needle all that much. Offensively, he did shoot the ball marginally better, but still well below league average overall, and from 3, his scoring and assist numbers both decreased from his rookie season. He's really struggled to grasp running an offense at this level, and while he is defending well overall, he clearly hasn't won over the Magic front office yet because they just drafted another guard in the lottery this year in Anthony Black, who could take even more minutes from him. He needs to improve his finishing.
Also, I ain't gonna lie, y'all gotta stop playing with the Magic, dog. Where's my soundboard? Y'all gotta stop playing with the Magic, bro. I ain't gonna lie, I was watching that Laker game yesterday, and in the playback chat, even on the timeline, the amount of people that man, the Lakers lost to the Magic. I swear to God, if we could barely beat the Magic. Nah, bro, it's not the Lakers being this underachieving team tonight. No, the Magic are actually just that good. I don't know what to tell you. I really like this Magic squad this season, man. Deadass.
Ability at the rim, and he also really needs to become a more reliable threat from deep because he's on a short leash in that rotation.
Hey, y'all keep sleeping.
The next player we'll be discussing today on the verge of becoming a bust is Cam Reddish of the Los Angeles Lakers. Cam Reddish's ability to be given so many opportunities despite falling short of expectations every time is starting to look pretty impressive. Since being drafted in the lottery of the 2019 draft,
Cam Reddish is this generation's Michael Beasley. You know what I'm saying? The dude that busted everyone's ass at the pickup games. The dude that was crazy in college, crazy in high school, but shit just didn't translate to the league for one reason or another. Is it a mental thing? I don't know when it comes to Cam Reddish, but yeah, I remember that Cam Reddish hype, man. Man, God, that Duke trio. Do y'all remember the hype that Duke trio got, chat, of RJ Barrett, Cam Reddish, and Zion, bro? Like, looking back, knowing who those players are now, it's like, yo, why the fuck did we ever hype them up the way that we did? But look at that's a 2020 in hindsight type of perspective on it. But back then, shit was justified, though.
Draft, Reddish has shown few glimpses of a guy who can spark.
No. Let me not get it twisted as well, Eco. Zion is a great player, but I still think there's, especially with Zion, I'm so disappointed, man, because I was ready to really be on the Zion bandwagon. Like, I was really ready to die hard for Zion, man. There's a difference, but and now, mind you, Zion is still a great player. There's a difference between what Zion is right now and what he's supposed to be. Dead ass. And even right now, a healthy Zion's a top 20 player. A healthy Zion that wasn't fat, that didn't have all the troubles that he had, in my opinion, would be a top 10 player. Dead ass.
With his shooting and shot creation, but for every breakout game he's had, there have been an immeasurable number of games where he does more bad than good out on the floor. Every year for the last 4 years, Reddish's teams have been worse on offense while allowing more points on defense with him on the court, sometimes significantly, like this last year in Atlanta when the team was 17.6 points worse with him out there per 100 possessions, and he still has yet to fully buy into the 3-and-D role that could potentially save his career career. His three-point shot has never gone in at even a league average rate, coming off of a season where he shot just 31% from deep. He doesn't always give the effort required on defense to inspire coaches to keep giving him opportunities, which is why he kept getting benched in New York, and he tries too much when he gets the ball in his hands, which results in bad shot selection. He's now with the Lakers on a team with higher expectations than any team he's ever played on, so his margin for error will be even smaller, and if he can't emerge in their rotation this year, then the likelihood of another big break coming down the line seems pretty slim. The next player we'll be discussing that is on the verge of becoming a bust is Ziaire Williams of...
What happened to Josh Primo? What happened to Josh Primo, y'all? So I was hearing a lot about Josh Primo last year. He just... I don't know.
The Memphis Grizzlies. Williams is probably the most forgotten about top 10 pick from the 2021 NBA draft, but he was brought into a Grizzlies team that immediately rose to the top of the Western Conference standings, finishing in second place in the West both of the years that he's played so far, which then changed the team's philosophy quite a bit. As a rookie, he actually started about half of the games that he played in at the small forward position, and his athleticism in the...
Was this the dude drafted by the 76ers, or am I thinking about another Williams? Or Smith? Ziaire? I don't know. There was one of those years that like Philly was hyping up this draft prospect that they got. That was like a wing, that was athletic. Maybe it was this guy, but...
The open court showed flashes in the team's up-tempo style of play where they got out in transition pretty often. The issue with Williams, though, is that he came into the league very raw as a talent and was always going to require patience with his development to get the most out of him.
I was 90%
The problem with that, however, is obviously that the Grizzlies no longer have that kind of patience to bring him along slowly, because with the amount of talent on the roster around him now, they're in win-now mode. From year 1 to year 2, his role was severely reduced, and his production went in the wrong direction, shooting the ball worse from the field and from three, and failing to impact the game in other areas to deserve minutes. Realistically, he needs to be traded to a team that has the patience to develop him properly, but the NBA is as much about your circumstances as it is about your talent, and I just don't see how he's going to break out in Memphis. And finally, the last player we'll be discussing today on the verge of becoming a bust is Jalen Smith of the Indiana Pacers.
Already?
Speaking of forgotten top 10 picks, Smith is now the third player selected 10th overall in a draft mentioned in today's video alongside Cam Reddish and Ziaire Williams, making me think that the 10th pick might be cursed. Right when the pick was made back in 2020, it was being labeled by many as the biggest reach of the entire night, because nobody really ever viewed Smith as lottery talent, so he entered the league with a chip on his shoulder to prove everyone wrong. Unfortunately for him, though, the skeptics have proven to be pretty right so far, because 3 years in, he has not looked like a top 10 guy. The appeal with him as a prospect was over the fact that he could stretch the floor shooting the ball as a big man who also had some natural shot blocking instincts inside. Going to Phoenix was probably not a good fit for him at all from the jump due to the fact that they made it all the way to the NBA Finals in his first year in the league, obviously putting his development to the side. When he got traded to Indiana, he became a much more consistent member of the rotation, even beginning the season last year as a starter, but the Pacers have tried to develop him as a power forward to play alongside Miles Turner, and that experiment just has not been working. He's shooting the ball just 28% from three, so he's not even spacing the floor that well, and some of his better skills that include crashing the offensive glass and blocking shots here and there were not really able to be fully utilized at the power forward position. I think realistically, he should still end up being a decent backup center in the league, but the time is now for him to prove it. And with that being
couple names that I want to add to this list, and it's not even names, just teams to look out for. I think one of those dudes in Houston's gonna bust. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know who it is, but I just don't see Jabari Smith, Jalen Green, Sengun, Cam Whitmore, and Amen Thompson, all five of them working out. Deadass. I don't know. At least one of them is not gonna work. OKC. I think one of them are early bloomers. One of them is, I'm not gonna say they're gonna bust. But like what they are right now is who they are. They're not gonna take this leap that people just think everything is so linear. Nah, one of those dudes in OKC, whoever they are right now, is just who they are. I don't know who it is. Is it J-Dub? Is it Josh Giddey? Chet Holmgren, I'm still optimistic on, but if I were to bet, it's one of J-Dub or Josh Giddey. One of those dudes is just, and it's fine. It's not going to hinder their success. Whoever they are right now is just whoever they are. You know what I'm saying? Let me look at some other teams. Let me look at some other teams right now real quick. What's some other young teams and young squads? Let's see. Scoot's on the watch, dog. I ain't gonna lie. Until further notice. Yo, Scoot's on the watch. I know it's only been 3 games, and that's why I said until further notice. But until he proves to me, Scoot is on the fucking watch, dog. He's been playing really bad. Like, I wouldn't be tripping if it was, 13.6 assists. But nah. This ain't like 8 points, 4 assists. You have more turnovers than assists. You're shooting 5% from 3. Yeah, again, I'm not. There's a lot more time for you to develop, but until you show it, you gotta show it type shit.